Right. He just wanted to say it. Like,
I did. That's all I got.
We're live.
Oh man.
What's up,
up,
Facebook?
everybody?
What's happening? All 6 of us is here.
Yeah, let me get the Facebook and do what I need to do.
Oh yeah.
I pose my question.
Is Mr. Crazy Fluid jumping like? Look right there in my face. I ain't even got to move. Let's see. Let's get it. I'll make it rain.
Get it on.
Better clear it out.
There you go.
Looking at it.
Chicken noodle soup
Chicken.
with a soda on the side.
Y'all ugly as hell.
Skate Odyssey days. Skate Odyssey days.
It was the Crystal Palace days for me.
Sheesh.
Oh, Crystal Palace, yeah. Right up there.
Boy, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace needs its own documentary series.
It does.
Yeah.
Hustling Flow.
That don't count. That does good. I get annoyed with Hustling Flow. The amount of times that the word "main" was used.
Everybody gotta have a dream. Right?
Used incorrectly. How about that? We got to
Thank you.
And Terrence,
Oh my God,
exactly.
it annoyed me so much. I'm like,
Terrence
bro,
Howard didn't even sound like a Memphian. He sounded like somebody there from Mississippi or something.
right, like Jackson, Mississippi.
From Walls, Mississippi or something.
Well, they still call Rotel cheese dip, apparently.
Stop.
Good one. We all today. Let's go.
Bro, Rotel and cheese dip will get talked about in this podcast until we're like 35.
Like, you know you was trolling.
It's on the menu tonight.
Right. we probably up to Started Fire podcast.
The first dish that I'm teaching Eva, Rotel.
It's easy.
And that'll be it.
Right,
So, thinking about Rotel, because it's definitely on the menu. But before we get to the dessert, that could be Rotel, let's get to the main entree. This phrase that I heard in Memphis, I originally heard when I sampled Drake. No, I'm not a rapper or a singer. But then I started hearing this phrase more when I was in the barbershop getting chopped.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, what do y'all mean? And then, I got to build up the story. I haven't heard the kids use it, but more or less adults. And I was like, well, if that's really true, like, don't you got to like go to the bathroom? And so the phrase I'm referring to is with the S word. And I'm like, do I need to stock up on the Charmin? Can someone please describe to me what does the phrase with the sh really mean?
And you with the stuff. You
Hold on. You're flogging, cheating.
Yeah, there we go. Ain't what you just said.
That's exactly.
It's not even a flogging term that per se. It's more so you're now allowing me to express who I am correctly. Therefore, you're with the ish. Therefore, like a teacher that would stop. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Perfect example. A principal stopping the chip and juice guy from being great.
Oh,
chip and juice every day. They are with the ish. Perfect example.
Boy,
Stopping me from being great.
on the money and one breath. There you go.
Yes.
There you go,
What is
bro.
that? Stopping the chip juice. God.
Black Lives Matter, bro.
Hey, what a hustle that was in high school.
Bro, I wonder how much they made on average. I know they went home.
More than the teachers, I tell you that.
So they
Fruities right there.
Fruities.
Fruity.
Hey,
I
real
gotta
quick,
go at least 100 a day.
Question about Fruities, y'all. When was the first time you saw the actual Fruity bag?
When I was 14, it was this. I just told Skylar this. It was.
We were just talking about this on the other podcast.
Okay.
When I stayed in the Haven, it was this like this hood store down the street from Fairley, where you get the whole big bag of like fruit.
Yep,
Like
I know
98
exactly what
cents.
store you're talking about. Yep.
I've only seen them joints in a plastic bag.
Literally, I literally just bought a huge bag of Fruities from Piggly Wiggly yesterday. It's my first time ever seeing like a full, huge bag of them. They always come like in a nice little Ziploc bag at the little hood store right there by the register. You'd be like, all right, man, let me get these. Let me get this honey bun. Let me get this big Texas. Let me get a Sprite. And oh yeah, Fruities always sitting right there. You can't never forget the Fruities. They always right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they're never really in like you said a Ziploc bag. I feel like they do fruities wrong. I feel like they put them in a little sandwich bag.
bag.
Like that. Like you got to get 2 cans.
They used to sell it like when folks used to sell it in my when I was in middle school. They used to put like I guess the dollar bags would be the Ziploc bags. Where they put like 50 in there.
Yeah,
and the 50-cent bags would be the sandwich bags, like 25.
Man,
Like
fruities. That's the candy right there.
Yep.
They be selling those just like they dime bags or something.
Got you.
I mean, you could put 10 of them in a bag. I guess it would be one.
Dime bag, man.
Yep.
we get our boy Franklin to get a whole nother series on that thing. Get my boy Franklin out here.
Hey, Sheedy, what you got?
And so like also I was tagged in a post, and here comes the dessert because I think I got the main entree together, and I understand what it means. But then there was someone talking in Mississippi about this dish called rotel again.
Oh Lord.
And to me,
Part 3.
What I saw was actually rotel. I saw cheese sauce. I saw meat. I saw the tomatoes, which are called rotel. To me, that dish was rotel because you guys told me that when you add the rotel, it becomes rotel. Now, whoever called it cheese dip, they're liars. That, my friends, was rotel. And I just want to make sure that was clear.
I feel like now we feel like actual teachers when they students actually learn something.
He's learning.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is another segment of teaching Sheedy how to be a Memphian.
We got to come up with a whole song, a little theme song for that segment every time.
We do need to come up with something.
Hey, Sheedy, like, so, we got like that progress bar, right? The progress bar, I'm sorry. What progress do you think you went from 0 to 100% as far as being a Memphian?
I believe because of my duration, how long I've been here, totality, how much money I've spent here.
Yeah,
I've had 2 kids here, been married. I'm at about a 72%, I would say.
We can take that.
Just passing.
28, yeah. I'm trying to find
You literally. That's the C in college.
Y'all know what I just thought about? So I just randomly thought about that Fresh Prince episode where Will took Carlton to the hood. That's literally what I just thought about.
I'm asleep on the
So we got right. So we got to drop Cheedy off from like South Memphis or somewhere.
I was gonna ask, what did Cheedy have to do to get that other? What was that 28%? What do you got to do, y'all?
You got to drop them off in South Memphis like us guys. You got to actually go to Crystal Palace.
Right, drop him off at Crystal Palace. No, actually, we should do a scavenger hunt. That's what we should do. Yeah, that's what we should do.
We gotta take scavenger hunt. Take Sheedy to the Hickory Ridge Mall.
Yeah.
On the exact spot the tornado hit and everything.
Yeah. Look on the scavenger. Look on that list. Got to be the Mall of Memphis. He got to find that junk and take a picture in front of it.
Right, there's nothing out there.
We gonna do that for real.
He wants us to know that. He wants us to know that.
He got to take a picture with 3 tigers.
y'all at least 2 malls that Google don't even know right now.
That's the issue, bro. That's the issue. Right. Look, here's a kicker. It all ends when Sheedy making a thing of rotel.
And
we gotta judge it.
And you're gonna have to go to the Southland Mall and actually shop in there.
Ooh, get a haircut.
Oh yeah, that's
Get a haircut.
Hold on. Ain't that the mall that just got that little optical place I took you to too, but was closed? Ain't that something?
Yeah. That's how.
Who get dropped off at the Southland Mall is the question.
Southland Mall.
No, my eye doctor's right next to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He moved to Cordova, but yeah, I'm from the Haven, bro. You know that.
Oh yeah, I
The only place I want to visit, my guests to get my Memphis on are Orange Mound or Frazier.
You ain't been to Orange Mound yet?
You've been to Orange Mound. Trust me.
you've been Mound.
You may not realize that you're in Orange Mound, but trust me, you've been to Orange Mound.
No,
Exactly.
Has he been to a Melrose game?
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
the game. That's the game. I didn't care about the game. You have to go get your food, man. They're gonna put your little sandwich under the gate.
Yo,
Yo.
he's taking it back now. He's taking it back.
I belong the sandwich, bro. The coleslaw.
I'm glad you're making progress.
I was gonna
Go hoop at Orange Mound Community Center.
Ooh wee.
Oh, speaking of the Haven, you got to go write your name on the Elvis Presley wall.
Nah.
Next.
You got to not go to Graceland.
No,
Yeah,
just drive by.
Did y'all see where Devin Walker said something about that on Twitter? And I'm like, I only remember Graceland when I passed by it. That's the only time I remember that Graceland
I drove
is
past
here.
it every Sunday on the way to church.
And be like, oh, it's still here, huh?
Drove past to come home. I used to stop at the Dodge. I used to stop at the Dodges and BJ's right here, though.
Dodgers ain't nothing to play
That
with.
needs to be something. He needs to try Dodgers fried chicken. That's what.
Dodge definitely got to try Dodge.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Dodge. Like I was telling that y'all got to speak for y'allself. For y'all, I used to work at Graceland, so yeah.
Sheesh.
I one point in time knew everything about Elvis.
My cousin, she worked there too.
Well, you're from the Haven too, so it's about the
Yeah,
phone.
that's
You good.
I mean, kind of, but not really. Like my mom used to work there.
I'm from the Haven.
Well, Sharky, you left the Haven to go to Southeast Memphis.
Hey, my dad.
I know plenty of people from the Graceland though. So
Say what?
I know plenty of people from the Haven never been to Graceland.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
All right, let's get this thing started.
Let's get it.
Turn my camera.
Let me get these notes. All right. Fun pregame.
Always.
Got quite a bit of viewers today.
What's good, people?
You know what I mean?
Oh, we got some stuff to say.
Let's
Miami.
go Miami.
I like
Let's go
that.
Miami.
He lucky we don't take the Facebook picture. He lucky we don't do that.
I know, right?
He's very lucky we don't do that. You're a blessed man.
That right there.
What up, Ryan?
Oh, turkey leg. Yeah, what's good?
Bro, even like the breakfast at Dodgers, bro.
Oh,
like,
bro.
Yes.
you gotta.
Have y'all had their pizza? Have y'all had their pizza?
It's a hit. It's a piece of stick, bro.
Hold on.
Piece of stick.
We're gonna have to save this for a whole nother episode.
Because we're gonna run through the whole menu.
Here. So we're gonna have to time out. A turkey leg.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, turkey leg.
From a gas station.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But you know, gas stations got the best food.
Wow,
I know you know that, right?
I don't.
Memphis gas stations.
We're on the way.
Memphis gas stations in here.
It's called a hood store.
Yes, sir.
Hood store, hole in the wall.
Station.
We got best barbecue sandwiches from a what's the gas station?
Bro.
I forgot. Okay, we gotta keep going.
That's real. The fattest sports podcast in the nation, baby. Salute.
Hey, Dodgers gonna run us our check.
Yes.
Run us this check.
Ron, we're gonna get to that.
We're definitely gonna get into that.
Get at it.
Jesus. Ooh,
Better families. We said, what's up, Ron?
Yeah, no. Let's get this shot really started. Let's be real. Wakanda Forever.
Amen.
Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Also, rest in peace, Clifford Robinson and Lou Olson.
Mm-hmm. Anybody out there that got Cliff Robinson jersey, the Blazers joint, let me know. I'm trying to cop. Seriously.
That's gonna run you some money.
I have my ways. I can find it.
Yeah, get the headband.
All right, so first topic of the day, Sheedy, real talk.
Yeah. And so for those that can't see, my name says Voice for the Voiceless. And Let's Be Real has been an awesome platform for us to use to just really get out some stories that a lot of people are not privy to. But I think what we'll talk about the ones that are like most people know about as well. But a few that I do want to name that we haven't talked about in length that have happened like really recently are the 29 children that were found in Georgia. there's no news about that for real, right? And that could have been to a point where we could have stopped the bubble from happening again, right? Along this, there's a Arkansas sheriff. So just do your research. Arkansas sheriff, his job was rescinded because of his statements of what he's calling someone an N-word. So just do your work, right? I just gave you a few things for you to look up. Go and do that right now. But before you do that, let's get back to the things that we know for sure. Breonna Taylor, 5 months. 5 months. That is a month away from half of a year that she was gunned down by the Louisville Police Department with not one arrest. When speaking to the Republican Attorney General, stated that the investigation is ongoing. I can't speak on that. But another one that we had was Jacob Blake was gunned down 7 times while going to his car and not obeying the commands from cops. But we haven't seen the body cams yet, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But first, for Sharky, for Savage and Skylar, how do you guys feel about those two prominent stories, Breonna Taylor and Jacob Blake, right now that are going on in our country?
Definitely said that, as you mentioned, there's been no justice that's come from Breonna Taylor in her investigation. To be completely honest, I don't think there's going to be anything or much that comes from the Jacob Blake shooting. It's really sad that here we are. It's August 30th, and we're still having August 30th, 2020. Excuse me, that we're still having issues such as this. That Jacob Blake one definitely really hurt me. And let's see, Took and Trevor and Savage, I definitely applaud y'all for being able to have the mental capability of to record early this week, because I literally didn't have it. To see a black man get shot 7 times in front of his kids, that hurt, because of course y'all know I just had Eva, and I literally looked Eva dead in her eyes, and it was like I couldn't imagine, I couldn't imagine that one. So that one really hurt. And I mean, I know we said this a couple months ago, especially when the George Floyd situation happened, but I mentioned that I was on the Zoom call, and there was a discussion about like what happened with him. Is it a movement or a moment? And I said then it was a moment, and here we are yet again, and this stuff is still happening. Like black people are getting shot by police. It seems as if it's every day of the week. It seems as if white people or other races do not care about our race at all. I mean, Doc Rivers said it. He said it earlier this week. It's amazing how we love this country, but the country doesn't love us back. And that one absolutely hit home. So this week was a very tough week for me. I'm sad that it's happened. I'm really hoping at some point before God calls us home that at some point we will not have to continue to have these discussions. But here we are.
Well, feedback off Scott's point. Well, first off, like I said, shout out to Trevor and Savage for being able to get on Wednesday night, the night of the NBA's boycott. And we talked more about that on Starting 5 podcast also. But like Skylar said, with Jacob Blake, well, what does help is he's still alive. But now I understand a lot of stuff about he robbed a store and something else like that. They got him handcuffed to the hospital bed. So hopefully something comes of it, but like you said, it probably won't. At this point, Breonna Taylor, same thing. You hoping something comes of it, but I mean, how long it's been? Like you said, almost half a year.
And sorry to cut you off, Sharky, but it's sad that we have to accept it. It's really sad that we have to accept that.
Yeah, and like I said on Starting 5 podcast, I got pulled over yesterday, and like just the thought, like, oh Lord, like when the same cop open doors, like man, like I ain't never been that fearful when I got pulled over. It didn't during this time. Luckily, it was pretty simple. Boom, hey, ticket, that's it. But just the fact that I had to even get scared in the first place it just don't make sense.
Yeah, it's like the fact that, like you said, that you are fearful for your life, as a black man, like that is all that we want, in this case, definitely like white people to understand that, there's like a thing in counseling where, there's one thing to listen to somebody, but there's nothing to understand somebody. And I think people, they listen, but I don't think people understand like what it truly means to be a Black person. And that's what's important about this time now more than ever. You know, it's not about knowing that, you know, Jacob Blake has this record. Like, all that doesn't really matter in comparison to him getting shot in the back 7 times. Like there is a way to go about, if you need to apprehend somebody, the man had his back turned, dog. Like, I don't know what you want me to say about that. And you felt the need to shoot not once, not twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Like you are trained in a way to handle that situation if it was even like that. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned on the Let Me Be Real thing last week that Jacob Blake literally, like, I don't ever want to get shot, but if you're gonna shoot me, you better kill me dead, because I'm coming back hard. Like, I cannot wait to hear what Jacob Blake says. One, because he survived this situation, and then 2, just to hear. I want to hear, like, I know he's gonna be as passionate as his sister. I believe that was his sister who spoke last week in that press conference, and you can just feel the pain in her voice. So I just want people to understand the pain of Black people and not just listen and then push it aside by saying, oh, he had this going on, that going on. Like, more times than not, and I'm speaking like in terms of, like, you know, the right wing of the political party, you claim to be a believer, you claim to be a Christian. If that is the case, then you need to accept the fact that this man can be forgiven if he has gone through that, just like this cop can be forgiven. But there has to be understanding that comes with it. And I ain't gonna start preaching, but
maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's what we need, brother.
But yeah, like there has to be a level of compassion and wanting to understand somebody more than just seeing them as a Black man with, you know, stuff going on. It's like, we all get stuff going on in our life, but we need to be seen as human and not as animals that need to be shot down. Like, let's see us as humans if all lives matter. And that's all I'm saying.
Let me add this part, and then we're going to try and transition and hear from Took and Trevor. A few things I do want to make us aware of. Kenosha, the city where Jacob was gunned down at in his back 7 times. If you notice, there hasn't been any body camera footage out there, right? That's because Kenosha, until the year of 2022, at the earliest, is when they will establish body cams. So if it weren't for that one person I was recording from afar, we probably would have never seen this side of the story. And so I wanted us to be aware of that. Also, was he really a threat? And so when you think about threat, think about also Terrence Crutcher. And for those that don't remember who Terrence Crutcher is, he is the one who was shot and killed by police in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That started our riots back in 2016. And the police were responding because there was a stalled car, but there was no weapon, no threat. And actually, the officer was acquitted of all charges. Gunned the man down, and he was acquitted of all charges. And I really hope that it's not the same for Jacob Blake. I really hope there's true justice for him. And I also wanted us to focus in on, I'm going to talk about Memphis for a second, then I'm going to go to Took and Trevor. In 2018, there was another man that was shot down in Collierville, and he had a replica gun. It was also just recently released that our Memphis Attorney General stated that it was just for them to do that. And so that officer is also acquitted of all charges. And so when you think about this and how sick it makes you, you think about also like what Chris Rock, there's been this like meme and message that Chris Rock put up. And we're not saying we're against officers. We just can't have bad officers.
Yeah. Right.
The same way you can't say we have some great pilots, but there can't be these bad pilots that don't know how to land and crash into mountains. Right. And that was Chris Rock's point. We're not saying that we hate police. We're just saying we need all police to be just. And that's the point that I want to make sure we convey and move forward. But as we're thinking about these things, there were some boycotts that were happening around the league, and just not even just around the NBA, but around sports in general. So I'll start with Trevor and then go to Took. Of these boycotts, which one do you think resonated most with you as a fan of sports, or just not even just a fan of sports, just being a Black man in general? Which one of these boycotts was the best for you?
I will definitely go out on the limb and say Naomi Osaka. When she decided to drop out of, I forgot which tennis tournament it was, but her decision to drop out because of everything that's going on right now with social injustice stuck with me the most because, one, it's once again a black woman on the forefront of everything, trying to do what's right. And especially outside of her, Coco and the Williams sisters, of course, it's not much black representation in tennis. And tennis is primarily either all white or all European. So for her to make that statement and step up as a leader and say, hey, I'm not going to play in these tournament matchups today because of everything that's going on with Jacob Blake, I would definitely say resonated with me the most.
If I was to say one, I'll say I don't even know if it's a protest or a boycott at this point, but you got to salute the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Especially for an NFL franchise in the racist establishment that is the NFL. You got, of course, Lamar Jackson, who's arguably the most popular figurehead in the NFL, coming out with his team saying we have certain demands, and until they're met, we probably won't see the field. And, you know, it's all about the money. And I think with a team like the Ravens, with a team like Lamar Jackson and his electricity, you're going to miss that if he's not on the field. And, you know, and of course, you all can go and look up, you know, Google on some of those demands. But of course, I say a couple of them are of course, arrest and charge the police officer for the Breonna Taylor killing and the shooting of Jacob Blake. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can talk about how the bubble started and we were asking for justice for Breonna Taylor, and we're still waiting, what, 6 months later? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Another one is to bring the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act to Senator Mitch McConnell to the Senate floor. Like, the fact that they're actually making demands for the Senate to get off their asses and actually do something is powerful. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the Baltimore Ravens. And I hope that a lot of players, especially with black quarterbacks and well, I'm going to say most of the teams they got, you know, black players, or the more popular ones are black. So if all of the black players were to come together and say, this is what we need to do for our owners for us to go on the field, then so be it.
Can I hit y'all with a stay woke moment real quick? Because I'm going to, everything that Toops just said, I'm kind of going to tie it together, kind of, sort of. Of course, we all know that we're demanding that the Attorney General of Kentucky, Daniel Cameron, the first black Attorney General in Kentucky, of course, we're demanding him to bring prosecution to the officers that murdered Breonna Taylor. Not sure what the stall is being, but of course, with him and everything talking about the investigation, of course, the tweet of him coming out proposing to his fiance, his white fiance, about that. Quick note, his fiance is the granddaughter of fellow majority Senate leader Mitch McConnell. So, who's pretty much is stalling everything in the Senate for everything that's supposed to be progressing forward. So, kind of stay woke on that. If you guys are really looking for Daniel Cameron to actually do something, stay woke. Stay woke on that.
Yeah, thank you for that input too, Trevor. And before we close out on this, I don't want us to think like Black Lives Matter has been like this sad thing, right? This past weekend there was a march on Washington, the largest it's been in 57 years since Dr. Martin Luther King gave his own speech, where the families like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Eric Gardner, Jacob Blake, joining with like Reverend Al Sharpton, Martin Luther King III. And so there was a great celebration, and those were there. I want to say thank you to every person that was there, no matter your color, because that meant a lot for me as a black man, to see that on the TV and the post. And one last thing I want to leave, like I said, I don't want us to all be sad about Black Lives Matter. Of course, we got Big Cliff that passed away, and Coach Olsen that passed away, but we named the show Wakanda Forever. And Chadwick Boseman and what Black Panther did. Just as of yesterday, Apple iTunes, there were 3 Chadwick movies that were in the top 10: Jackie Robinson, Black Panther, and Marshall. Black Panther was the first predominantly black cast of Marvel that grossed over $1.3 billion. And it was also is standing the 9th highest grossing film ever. For people that don't even like register, like there's like 30 films that come out every summer in June alone. And to say that a predominantly black cast dominated is huge. And I just think about what that movie did for us as black people. One, we showed out and showed out. Some of us went maybe twice that weekend to see it. Some of us probably bought dashikis 3 times.
Somebody brought plates. Somebody had
barbecue.
They were selling that. Rotel
yes, they were
was in
selling
there.
plates in the theater, bro.
Yeah.
Concessions weren't making no money that weekend.
Exactly.
And so like that culture brought something. Black Panther was so huge that, and Chadwick Boseman's character was so huge that we literally celebrated Black History Month twice with the same movie. And Wakanda became a place of classrooms, for wedding destinations. Like church was talking about Wakanda. Like what that movie did for us was huge and is not to be slept on. And so like yesterday, again, those movies were streamed for me, but Black Panther was huge. I just want to get you guys' take about Wakanda Forever and really just Chadwick Boseman and his insert into our lives, and you know how we can still celebrate him moving forward.
Man, he was huge. Matter of fact, anybody, they are showing Black Panther on ABC at 7:00. No commercials, as a matter of fact. But I remember when the movie first came out, and I went to like a special screening for it, and I wanted to go see it twice. I think I wanted to go see it in the IMAX theaters the second time. It's like you said, what Memphis black culture. I actually related to Michael B. Jordan's character a lot. His upbringing.
I think we all can as African Americans, just separation from home. So
yeah. But I mean, overall, Chadwick Boseman. I mean, I hadn't really got to see like all his. I seen a couple, but I hadn't really just been into him into Black Panther. But also, I took into account this scene from Endgame Avengers. The scene when Captain America, when everybody came back to life, and who was the first person who walked in?
T'Challa.
Right. So right. Just see that scene. Just thinking back to that scene. I saw somebody post that clip of him walking in. I was like, wow. Like just think about that. What that meant for Black culture in that movie, for him to be the first person to come back.
Yeah. On my end, the biggest thing that sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say on my end, and this is just like again another level of understanding. And I'll be quick. Y'all know Stan Lee. Stan Lee is like the GOAT in terms of like telling the story beyond just the actual story. So of course, like with Black Panther, like that is just a story about, you know, Black empowerment, celebrating culture, in this case, Wakanda, which of course has roots from Africa, celebrating just the economic and financial success within the Black community. And going into like the Black Panther, I won't get deep into it, but y'all know that T'Challa was like more keen to keeping it within the community, but then, you know, he learned from Killmonger, like, okay, I need to, based on what happened to him because of that tragedy that happened with Killmonger, let me spread the love, go out to, in this case, Oakland, California, which again was a dope nod to the Black community in Oakland because Oakland has been hurting for a long time. Yep. But Stan Lee, he you know, rest in peace, Stan Lee, he just gets it in terms of telling the story. I mean, you can even go into like X-Men, where you had Professor X and Magneto, you know, basically, you know, representing Malcolm and Martin. In some cases, it goes even beyond that, you know, with different oppressed communities beyond just the Black community. So shout out to Stan Lee for telling that story. And again, that's an example of a white man that is understanding, you know, what's going on in the world around him. And this, like, Black Panther was like, what, the 50s, 60s, whenever he came out, right in the heart of the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? So there's a shout out to Stan Lee that his legacy, you know, has lived on, you know, through Chadwick Boseman playing the Black Panther character.
Yeah. And I just want to highlight again one of my favorite moments from Chadwick Boseman. I think it was 2018 when he received the award for Best Hero at the MTV Movie Award, and he gave that award to James Shaw, who was the hero from the Waffle House shooting in Nashville, I believe, a couple of years ago. So again, just going back to like him just being aware, him helping out the community, that's going to be one of my favorite moments for him, and I just appreciate that he brought light to that particular situation. Rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to the King, man. That one hurt. The end of the week was enough. I can't take any more in 2020. I can't. I'm tapping out.
Trevor.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor too.
You guys pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think I'll just kind of reiterate what Skylar said. It's just one of my best moments was him presenting that award for Best Hero and him giving it to James Shaw for his efforts at the Murfreesboro Waffle House was just touching. Savage covered basically everything I was going to cover as far as Stan Lee and him understanding what all was going on within the Black community at the time that he created Black Panther. So again, I'm probably going to watch it at some point this week on Disney Plus. So, and I'll probably watch 42 as well. I think that's probably the only other movie of his that I haven't seen that I think there's much importance. So, again, rest easy. Rest easy, Chadwick. Rest easy, man.
I guess to close it out, this one it kind of hit home for me. Like I really haven't been on social media much. You know, a lot of people were real sad when Kobe died, and you know that was his hero. Well, honestly, like Chadwick is one of my heroes. Like I was one of the people that saw Black Panther 3 times. You know, when it first came out. You know, and I'm kind of getting emotional now talking about it. But like the guy was a real good guy. He portrayed Black Panther so well. If it's any movie that inspired me, like I can tell you, like it is Black Panther. So for him to be gone from us, it hurts, but it's also a motivational thing because he died at the age of 43. But the way that he was able to maximize his time here on Earth is something that we should all, you know, strive to aim for, like to be the best that we can be, you know, especially for us, for our families, for, you know what I'm saying, for Wakanda, you know what I'm saying, whether or not people believe it exists or not. I think the mindset of putting on for your city, putting on where you're from is something that we should all care with ourselves. And Chadwick Boseman, both will be forever in our hearts, you know, for sure, for doing such a thing. So rest easy, Chadwick. Like I said, this one hurts, but we gonna make it through it.
Quick memory for you too. You remember when we first started recording Let's Be Real a couple years ago?
Don't get me started, bro.
We recorded the first couple of those with the Black Panther action figure.
Yeah. Man, look, I'm in Phoenix. I'm in Phoenix right now, but trust me, if I was in Memphis, I'd have them on record. Right?
I still got it.
I was just gonna ask, did you still have it?
Come on now. Hopefully Brody ain't watching. It's kind of one of the things like I'm kind of happy. But nah, man, rest in peace, Chadwick, man. Thank you for everything you've done to us, and you know, I think we got to do a better chance of giving our flowers to people, you know, that are still living. So, you know, F 2020, F cancer.
Real. So thank you for giving me this platform to discuss, and thank you, gentlemen, for your input. It will always be Wakanda forever. For all of us, but also let's just make sure that we still protect everyone out there, our Black community, and start always protecting our Black queens, because if there is no Black queens, then there are no more Black kings that we can have for ourselves. Again, please, we protect our Black queens, then our kings will follow. Passing over to our other king, Captain King himself.
Hey, appreciate it. But before we move on, value Black people. And I, till just now, maybe this year, last year, I started like taking my health more seriously. And Sheedy, I know you has been like a real big, you know, push advocate of that. And like Black people, we need to take our health serious, because he died. He got cancer 4 years ago, and he was in stage 3. Was it colon cancer?
Colon cancer. Yeah.
So apparently, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he went to chemo and stuff, but we don't not sure how serious he took it, considering he still played all these serious roles during this time frame. Like, just Black people, Black community, please take your health serious. Take a break when you need. Don't overwork
mental and physical.
Yeah.
Hey man.
Yeah, please go get your physical at least once a year, man.
They're gonna say mind up soon.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the mental aspects, like that's why I couldn't be on social media. Like we got to take better care of our mental. Right. Like, you feel yourself getting upset or angry, like why keep indulging in the same thing? That's called driving yourself insane.
Yeah.
But back to the limelight, NBA did start back after 3-day layoff. So
it was 3 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday.
I didn't feel like it.
Really didn't, but hey, it is what it is.
All right, Trevor.
So of course the NBA actually picked back up on this past Saturday. Had to start with Milwaukee closing out the Orlando Magic in 5 games. We also had the Lakers closing out the Trailblazers in 5 games, along with Houston going up a game in Game 5 against OKC. And just today, we've had Boston take a 1-0 lead, pretty much destroying the Raptors in this first game. And then also we had the Clippers close out the Mavericks today in 6 games. So as the second round matchups began to finally formulate itself, just want to get you guys' take on what do you guys expect in these next in this second round matchups? What are you looking for? Who's your players you're going to keep an eye on in the series, and what you expect as far as the second round? So,
I expect the semifinals for the Eastern Conference is probably going to be more entertaining than the semifinals for the Western Conference. To see, we're going to have the Bucks and the Heat, and we're going to have the Celtics and the Raptors, and I think that those two matchups on the Eastern side is going to be more entertaining and more compelling than the Western Conference. I mean, you have who's probably going to be here announced soon, but Giannis the MVP and the Milwaukee Bucks going against. And we got 2 people on this show who are a huge fan of the Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat is like they ain't backing down to nobody. So I think that's going to be a really good series. The Celtics and Raptors, I think that's going to be a pretty good 2-3 series. I'm actually going to probably be more focused on those series than I am going to be of the Lakers, and I guess it's probably going to be the Rockets. Like Savage says all the time, who's guarding AD? And I don't think the Rockets have anybody that's going to guard AD. And I said on the starting five, I think the Nuggets are going to come back and beat the Jazz. I know it's 3-1. I know statistically it's not proven that it can happen, but I think the Nuggets are going to come back and beat the Jazz. And I'm just really not going to be that much interested in Clippers and Nuggets. And you have it.
I think on my end, Boston is interesting. I have a poetic justice. This might be conspiracy savage too. Just let you know.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I, for some reason, am feeling Lakers and Boston in the finals.
Didn't I say that earlier?
I am feeling Lakers and Boston. One, because of Kobe. One, just the spirit of Kobe. 2, if the Lakers beat Boston in the finals, they are tied with Boston with the number of overall championships. And I don't know. I just feel it. I don't know. But Boston, just speaking on Boston looks good, man. Like you got 2 legitimate, in my opinion, 3 legitimate number 1 options. And Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and Kemba, they each can go get 30 if they want to. Like it don't matter who win the game, they gonna get 30. And they not only that, but they play defense, man. Like you got scoring, you got defense, and not only that, you got the coach.
Brad Stevens, yeah.
Man, and I honestly would not be mad if Boston beats LA. Like, for some reason, I like Boston just because the team is just a good team, like from top to bottom, like well coached, good players, good coach. Like, I don't know, but I feel Lakers in Boston. I don't know.
Got Gordon Hayward. If they get through this series, he'll be back.
Yeah.
And Marcus Smart been playing very good. He's shooting this year.
I know he's making threes.
Shocking.
He's making threes.
Along with the defense. So he's actually a true 3-and-D now. But of course, y'all know I'm talking about. The player I'm watching out for is who? Jimmy Buckets. This Milwaukee series. But also a key player I'm going to catch an eye in this series. And I had a discussion with my guy Justin on Twitter. And even we said that players who had the most pressure, Eric Bledsoe from Milwaukee. And as much as we talk about Chris Middleton, to me, Eric Bledsoe is that player who can go out and get more points than he has been. I don't know if it's Milwaukee's system that's holding him back or whatever, but him and Giannis, can't nobody really stop him from getting to the hole. And I don't know what Eric Bledsoe is the key for Milwaukee to get past Miami. If he continues to struggle in the postseason, and Chris Middleton, of course, continues his struggles, as long as the referees don't, like you said, it's going to be hard for referees to do a whole lot, but fouls can stop the Heat.
Miami can win that series.
Yeah, I got them Heat. Yeah, let's go.
I got the Heat, man.
Real concerned about Milwaukee.
Are those predictions?
So I mean, I go ahead and go on a limb now. Yeah, Miami. And
yeah, matter of fact, we do.
We can do predictions
because like on the starting five, this was one of the I got my fault. One of the rounds that I really had like a star by because it's like if you don't beat the Heat in the second round, where do you go from here, Bucks? Especially with Giannis about to be a free agent, not this summer, but next summer. It's like, do you want to add more to him or do you just want to trade him? Because like if you're not able to beat the Heat, then you're not able to beat, in my opinion, the Celtics. You still got the Raptors that's up there. So it's like, what are you going to do?
Brooklyn.
I mean, Brooklyn next year.
Brooklyn next year, yep.
But for this series, it's gonna sound like as far as to how the future with the Bucks look. Like I said, I'm definitely on the bandwagon with the mid. You know what I'm saying? Bledsoe can definitely play a lot better than he can, but he got some dogs. And it's funny, Savage, that you brought up Lakers versus Celtics in the finals because there's a good chance we may see that. Even though I'm kind of still with the Heat Lakers, but Lakers Celtics is starting to look a little better by the day. So we haven't officially gave us our prediction, so I guess I'm good to make a final one. But definitely, I got Heat in 6 on this one.
I'll tell you about the Eastern Conference. Last year was very similar. The first round was how it was this year. I mean, Boston Celtics, 5 games, but the second round, just like last year,
gauntlet.
7.
This year the same way, similar. The West kind of the same. You have one team that's you got a bunch of good teams, but you want to have in this case you got 2 teams. Last couple of years you had Golden State and Houston. Houston fake like they were trying to do something one year. But outside of that, I think this year it's going to be, of course, Lakers, Clippers, and Celtics Heat in East Conference Finals. I'm not going to go past that prediction.
Yeah, I think in the West we just waiting on Lakers, Clippers at this point.
That's all we care about.
Yeah, that's what we wait on all year,
all season.
Lakers got that hands down like 6:30, if you ask me. And so like in the East, like the Raptors and the Celtics really got to pass that first round, like you were saying, Sharky. I mean, they beat up on some easier teams. I look forward to again Heat in 6. I know we're probably going to talk about all that in a moment. And then what's the other Eastern Conference final? Oh, Celtics. I think the Celtics have it more than the Raptors. As long as the Raptors still play Kyle Lowry, they're going to lose in 5. And then moving over to the West, the biggest person that can bring down the Lakers is Anthony Davis. That's it. Because Anthony Davis has never been out of the first round, right? And so now is his first year out of the first round, and how will he be coached? How will him and LeBron work and coincide with one another? Because anyone else in that conference is not scaring me to go and win in the Western Conference. Not scaring me to win the Western Conference Finals. Not Pandemic P and the Claw, who doesn't even like him anyway. I'm not worried about the Utah Jazz or the Utah Rhythm and Blues. I'm not worried about the Denver McNuggets. I'm not. So yeah, it just leaves you with Lakers and AD, and really, it's really on AD. As long as AD wants to continue being that boss that he's been being and getting all rebounds so separately. When Anthony Davis wants to rebound, ladies and gentlemen, watch that man go get that rebound, and watch that man go right back up, keep the ball high, and score. That's why he got 40. And so that's really their biggest enemy is in the West is Anthony Davis for the Lakers.
So Anthony Davis did that year. He swept Portland 2 or 3 years ago in the first round.
Yeah.
They got to go State in the second round. So he has made that first round at one time. Drew Holiday locked down.
Hey, cheater, bro, don't you ever talk ill on Kyle Lowry ever again.
Man, he bottom 10 Lowry.
For those that don't know yet, this is why he's saying Kyle Lowry's Toronto Raptors are, when he's not in the lineup, 10-2.
Oh, Savage. Your boy, Hall of Fame, Fred VanVleet, minus 28. We talking about Lowry.
Hey, man. I mean, he was due for a bad game. I mean,
I had to do it.
The Knicks gonna pay him the max? That's what you said?
I had to do it.
They would do a bad game. That's all good.
Catch a game too. Give him a chance, you know.
Hey, Savage, top 3 backcourt gonna be back next season, bro. This game, it's all good.
Yeah, John Wall and Bradley Beal gonna be back next year.
Next subject. Next subject.
I need to get a sign and just put X number of days without mentioning John Wall.
He's gonna be 0 every week.
An idea.
All right, man. Scholar.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Memphis Tigers. I love that we talk about the Memphis Tigers so much because I keep saying, I think Seven said this too. The NCAA does not want the Tiger basketball team and football team to both be good at the same time. And it's looking like as we go into this next year that it's going to be the same. So first of all, we're going to talk about Landers Nolley. He did just have his waiver approved by the NCAA, so he will officially be a part of the Memphis Tiger team. So really quickly, ladies and gentlemen, Landers Nolley is going to be a part of the Memphis Tiger basketball program. What can he add to this team?
Buckets. Straight buckets.
Love it.
Buckets.
Straight buckets.
I need to see email confirmation.
Oh God, come on, man.
Savage. Savage, need email confirmation, bro.
What else do you need?
Good.
15 in the ACC against the likes of
Hey
Carolina.
man, at this point, you going against Memphis, bro. You going against Memphis? Like we got to make sure you able to play because last year, should I say more?
He good.
I need that email confirmation. I need that reference number. I need all that.
Look, this number Ash came in. I said he is.
The NCAA said he is playing.
This ain't like James Wiseman where we
right.
Okay, I'm just making sure, bro.
You mean traveling Wiseman?
I mean, because I think it's like I joke, but I don't want to get my hopes up because the Tigers really legit have a squad next season.
Yeah, they will be.
And Landers will be a huge part in that. So it's like I ain't want to get my hopes up for something that may stop happening a month into the season, but that's neither here or there.
We still waiting on DeAndre Williams, who everyone thought he was more likely to get clear over Landers. So both of them go. Perfect.
Savage, what you think?
I'm thinking I might do a bootleg breakdown of Landers now.
Yeah,
I might do. Because I was pessimistic about Landers. I said he'd be more like to play the Landers Center than the FedEx Forum.
You did.
But I think I'm gonna do a bootleg breakdown. So be on the.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah. So quickly, I'm just gonna add. I think, like y'all said, he's going to be a bucket. Now he's not gonna have the ball in his hands as much as he did at Virginia Tech because we all know that the Memphis squad is deep this year. But I think again too, he's just gonna add experience. I think he's gonna add just versatility to whatever lineup that Penny Hardaway wants to throw out there. I mean, hey, you can put him and DJ out there at the 3 and 4 if you want to, just be able to. Again, add perimeter shooting, add being able to switch whatever you want to do defensively. So he's good. Like Sharky said, we're still waiting on DeAndre Williams. They better not. They better not grant him. They better not approve him as well, too, because at the end of that point, Memphis is running 10, 11 deep. And then I'm just going to be so excited to see Penny Hardaway having a full roster at his fingertips. And I cannot wait to see what that team looks like. So I can't wait. And then we're also waiting on the assistant coach as well, too.
Oh, yeah.
So we're still waiting on that. And as we transition to the Memphis Tiger football team, the college. I know.
Heavy down there.
Football season does start next week. Football season starts.
It started last night, bro. You watched it.
It started last night.
Football season starts next week.
Hey, started on the touchdown.
They did
not on the first play touchdown, bro.
Against Austin P and Central Arkansas.
And everything.
I could have sworn this segment was mine. Football season starts next week, and so I would like to get from y'all. I would like to get from the team. But if we could get predictions on the record, I know the season is shortened a little bit, minus a few games here and there. So get predictions on the record. What are y'all looking forward to with the new coach? New coaching staff, a good recruiting class as well. So what predictions do y'all have, and what are you looking forward to?
I'm gonna keep mine simple, 0-0. Simple as that.
Because you don't think it's gonna be a season.
I'm gonna keep mine simple, 0-0. Ain't nobody losing.
Sharky, can you pull up the schedule real quick?
Yeah.
I'll
say this. I
already got it if y'all need it.
Oh, okay. You go
for it.
So, of course, we kick off this upcoming Saturday at home against Arkansas State.
W.
Then 2 weeks from there, we're at home to Houston.
W.
Our first road game is against University of Texas in San Antonio.
Oh, they on lockdown. That game ain't gonna happen.
All right, Debbie Downer.
Then we're at SMU, home against UCF, home against Temple.
W.
We have
They always won. They always won. Joey caught that. W.
We're at Cincinnati,
W.
home against South Florida.
W.
Then we close it out at Navy and at Tulane.
Natty. Wow.
All right, I haven't seen Skylar, go and put King game right quick before
Okay, yeah. So before, I'm sorry, I didn't mention this. So before we mention 10 W's like Savage did, Kenneth Gainwell has opted to not play for the Memphis Tigers this upcoming year. He will take the next season to prepare for the NFL draft. I applaud him. I respect that decision. As a fan, I am truly hurt because he was part of the reason why I was ready to talk my cash money. But I respected the decision. Back at it.
Next guy up, man. You know how it is.
I haven't seen us beat UCF. Until I see us beat them with my own two eyes, I'm not picking us to beat them because I just haven't seen it. We always blow it every single time. So it's hard to see my own two eyes. And you think I'm gonna have to believe in Brady White even more now with that Kenny Gainwell against UCF? Till I see my own two eyes, I'm gonna predict that as a loss. Other tough games at SMU and at Cincinnati. Woo-wee.
Oh, very tough.
We're gonna go. I got 8-2. I think 9-1. 9-1, dog.
Okay.
9-1. I think Cincinnati gonna get their revenge, but nah.
I'm sorry, Coach Orr, didn't they combine the divisions this year?
I think so. I don't know.
Two division winners. Somebody check that for them, but I think they combined the division, so I think it's just one conference this year. But
I take it back. 8-2 at Navy.
Yeah, that's where my second loss came from. Sorry.
8-2.
You know, we did it last year.
Yeah, at home.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, that's my second loss.
If there is a season, a full season, give me 9-1.
Thank you.
Which loss?
I go UCF. I'm with you until we actually beat UCF. They got our number.
Can I go?
Right here, sir.
Yep, 10-0.
Like I was saying, I think we're going 10-0. And why do I think that? Because I don't know. Well, y'all remember this, but the way that Memphis Tiger team performed against Penn State. I know we got killed. I know it was obvious mismatch, but I feel like
I don't think it was a mismatch.
I'm saying killed as far as like defensively, we got destroyed. 53 points.
Okay, yeah.
But I think that the defense is another year older. I feel like they're going to be better than what they were last year. They're learning from the embarrassment of Penn State. The offense is already there. I don't care who back there running the rock. I don't care. Like Memphis going to score points one way or another. But the defense is, like I said, another year older. And I feel like if you can hold your own against Penn State, I mean, I'm going 10-0. I'll be optimistic. I'm really optimistic, y'all. Just so y'all know, I'm really optimistic about stuff. So
we've been not going 10-0.
What do we have a chance to get in the playoff this year? We go 10-0 because the Big Ten and Pac-12 ain't
nobody heard about that. Big Ten. Big Ten ain't working out Big Ten.
Somebody got to go to the playoff,
and why not us? Why not us?
Especially if we go undefeated, right?
Exactly.
Okay. What you got to say? Trevor.
Yeah. So just to confirm, the American Athletic Conference, they are getting rid of divisions this year, beginning of this season. So they're going to basically take the two best teams record-wise, and that's who will play in the conference championship game. So for me, I'm going to go 8-2 for the Tigers. I think with you guys, until I see them beat UCF, they haven't done it, so that's a loss. And I believe 2 weeks later against Cincinnati. So that's why I see those two losses coming for the Tigers. So give me 8-2.
Come on, Sheedy.
Yeah, of the last games of the season, there are 3 games that do scare me for the Memphis Tigers if the season does happen. That's UCF, at Cincinnati, and Navy. Cincinnati is well coached. Now you have to go to Cincinnati to get that W. And then, like we said, UCF has had our number. And then Navy is just there's something that happens with those what they call Navy midshipmen. That happens every now and then where they can just be miraculous. So I don't think they lose all 3 games. But I also don't think they win all 3 of those games. And I think they do lose 2 out of 3. And so if there's a 10-game season, then they're 8-2. And I think that's very solid when you lose one of your best players on offense out of nowhere, right? So this is not like right after the season, right? Like he just said no with all the scrimmage yards that he put up last season. And yes, you can't put someone else behind him. He has to be the next man up. We get that mantra, but that's another thing that's chemistry-wise not going to sit well for at least the first couple of weeks, and hopefully they get it together by the time it's time to really put the people up, so to speak.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Played them on ESPN, dog. Arkansas State.
That's how we get
That's a dub.
Get some football. That's a dub.
Dub.
That game.
Dub.
With
Dub.
not many fans.
Right.
That's why the road games gonna hurt that much either. Because I mean, you know,
That's how I feel too. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm actually going to go 9-1. I wasn't saying 8-2, but a lot of y'all said 8-2, and I want to say 9-1. So I'm going to go 9-1. I'm going 9-1. Oh heck no, because then we definitely nah. I'm going 9-1. I'm going 9-1 based off. I think finally the defense is going to play really good from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. I think like Savage said, I think that loss to Penn State, even though I think nobody expected Memphis to win, but I think they took that personally. I think that loss left a bad taste in their mouth. And so I think with the recruiting class that Memphis got, which is probably the best in football, in the school's history, I think so that gives them depth on that side of on the side of the ball, and then also the new defensive coordinator that they got in Mike McIntyre from Ole Miss, who if you look at their stats, literally completes difference from 2018. They were better in rush defense, they were better in pass coverage, they were better across the entire board. And I think that I think his experience, and I think also with the salty taste that they have in their mouth defensively, I think the Memphis defense is going to be good, which is typically their issue every single year. It's typically their secondary, and I think also T.J. Carter is named one of the top DBs in the country. So we got to shout that out. So I think they're going to be really good. Losing Gainwell is going to hurt, but like Savage has tweeted all day today, Memphis has weapons all across the board. Pop Williams did not play last year. Look for that receiver to go ham. DeMonte Coxey. We got running backs galore. Of course, you want Gainwell, but we got some Bentley trucks and we got some Ferraris and stuff in the garage that we ain't even pulled out yet. So give me 9-1, and then we go into a big bowl, and all of us are going because COVID will be over by the end.
Woo!
Yes.
The Peach Bowl.
LBR on the road.
LBR
LBR on the road.
LBR on the road.
I likes.
All right, then. Let's get it to the ReaLIST. All right, I'll share my screen.
This about to get
Savage, go ahead, do your introduction for the
so this week, y'all. We did we paid some attention to the trenches on the defensive side of the ball. We were looking at edge rushers as well as D tackles. With edge rushers, we're looking at 4-3 edges and 3-4 generally outside linebackers. And as you can see, Sharky put it on the screen. I'll go from 1 to 5. TJ Watt is number 1, the outstanding outside linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know my Pittsburgh fans on the pod are very excited about that. That's kind of lifting his hands up.
I mean,
and number 2, we're going to stay in the same division with Mr. Myles Garrett, who's just a freaking nature on the edge for the Cleveland Browns. Number 3, we got Bones Jones, brother, Chandler Jones.
Bones Jones.
For the Arizona Cardinals. And number 4, we got the guy who might be in the Super Bowl this year, according to ESPN, Shaquille Barrett on the edge for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And number 5, we got who calls himself Big Bear, Joey Bosa for the San Diego. Well, not San Diego Chargers. I'm still thinking San Diego.
There you go.
LA.
The
Chargers.
LA Chargers.
I know. Like I said, Joey Bosa. So that is the LBR's top 5 edge rushers. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
So, Tevin McKinnis, we talked a couple of weeks ago, and you weren't sure about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And now that we are the second week in a row, sir, and we have another Pittsburgh Steeler, number one. I'm pretty sure we have one more in the next of this that is going to be top 5. So, again, I just want to highlight to you Tevin McKinnis. This Pittsburgh defense is nothing to play with. I'm finally glad I get to talk as much trash as I want to because we finally have a defense. So please don't sleep us on anymore. Again, I'm not worried about the Cleveland Browns. Shout out to Myles Garrett. He's a really good pass rusher. Shout out to the rest of them. But I only want to highlight TJ Watt because, again, the Steelers have the number 1 defense in the league. Shout out to TJ Watt. Shout out to Minka Fitzpatrick. And we got one more coming up. That's all I care about.
Preach, brother. Preach.
Trevor, go ahead, man.
I ain't got nothing else to say.
What else to say? TJ Watt is he's cold.
Hold on. I will bring this up. I'll bring this to the podcast because on the night that he was drafted, Savage and Skyler were at my apartment at the time.
Yeah, I remember.
And Skyler asked me, he was like, "Are we gonna like our pick?" I was like, "You'll take a flyer on him." And when it turned out to be TJ Watt, yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, like, cool. Rest is history.
I mean,
get a response?
I honestly don't have none against the list. I actually believe it or not, I actually got TJ Watt as my number 1.
I think everybody but one person did. I think who was it?
Watch it be Sheedy.
Probably. But the thing was, like, Myles Garrett, y'all know I rock with the Browns, but the thing is, like, Cam Newton is taking so many hits. The one that I remember mostly is the one from Watt. So it's like, he number 1, you know. Garrett is number 1 next season, though.
So, Sheedy, go ahead. Who'd you have number 1, Sheedy?
Yeah, I didn't have the Doublemint twins pick for TJ Watt. That's a Doublemint Steeler twins, black and yellow. But I think there's a very good case for TJ Watt. I still think Bosa's are the best in the league. I don't think Myles Garrett is top 5 going into next season. This is my list. And I think also Barrett should have more consideration and move up more. He had 19.5 sacks last season, and according to what's about to happen by everyone's show of approval, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are about to score even more points than they did last season, which would mean Barrett should probably be getting at least 19.5, if not 20 sacks this upcoming season. He's going to pin his ears back. He's going to go get it. Yeah. I don't believe Myles Garrett has the athleticism to be in the top 5. I just don't think he's shown it all the way. And that's just how I feel. But I can definitely see him being on the list, and I guess I can agree with you all. The only guy that I missed off this list was Nick Bosa. And I think Nick Bosa got lost in the mix because that defensive line, you had to deal with a lot.
Everybody.
And so, like, you could have put any one of those guys, I feel like, on that list because you either had to double team Nick or double team everybody on the line just to get your pass off. And so that's where I stand. But again, if anything to this list, I would just move Barrett up further than at number 4.
Shark, what you got, man?
For me, the top 3 was exactly what I had. I saw Chandler Jones' stats.
You're always getting almost top 3, top 4, right?
Yeah, that boy had 60 sacks in his last 4 years.
Football junkie.
Right.
Yeah. Football junkie.
I know Chandler Jones had 19 sacks last year and 60 in the last 4 years. Yeah. I almost won number 1. I ain't gonna lie, but since we projected 4, he's 30. TJ Watt and Myles Garrett 25. I think both of them 25. Actually, I had, just out of respect, they both had down years last year, but they were top 2 last year. Khalil Mack and Von Miller.
Yeah,
I had Khalil at 5.
I had them at 4 and 5. I almost had Joey Bosa. He was my tweener, and after that, Shaquille Barry and Nick Bosa. My thing about Shaquille Barry is, I need another year. I don't want to see if he's a one-hit wonder. That's why I want to check and see. Man, he had 19.5 sacks last year. Before that, 3, 4, 1.5, 5.5. So I just need to see if this is a one-hit wonder for him.
And
before I put in my top 5.
And can I add this about Jones? The stat that you just said, he's had double-digit sacks since 2015.
Yeah, he been going crazy.
Imagine what he's been doing, and that's with a team that really ain't about nothing, Arizona Cardinals, and now they are about something. So I definitely expect at least 10 again this year. And shout out to this list.
15.
Yeah, the omissions of Mack and Von Miller is surprising because I mean that's two Hall of Famers, dog. But I'll point out Bosa. I mean, really both of the Bosas. Like I think they're gonna be a tandem for a very long time, and it's not a troll or not, but I think they'll be teammates at some point. Put Bosas on both sides. This is gonna be a problem. But that's the edge rushers, man. I think we all can be agreed upon like the top 5. That's a solid top 5.
Yeah, solid indeed, solid.
That's why I wanted top 10 because I knew the top 5 would be who. But that was good.
All right, let's go inside.
Know what she's saying.
All right. Anyway, to our interior defensive linemen, I think we know who number 1 is. I mean, it's not a problem at all who number 1 is. So I'll go through. Number 1, we got the best in the game, best defensive player in the game, in my opinion.
Yes,
Aaron Donald. Hey, I feel like until we see otherwise, Aaron Donald will be number 1 until he probably retired, man, because he's just a freaking nature in the middle for the Rams. And number 2, we got Mr. Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Big money.
Super Bowl champ. Big money, big spender. Number 3, my boy Fletcher from Yazoo City.
Big Fletch.
Number 4, we got another Pittsburgh Steeler, Cam Hayward, coming through. And number 5, we got the new Indianapolis Colt, DeForest Buckner. Thoughts about the top 5 list?
I'm upset because I almost had this perfect. I had Cam and Buckner switched.
Sure, you got the top 5 though.
Yeah, top 5 is what it is.
I'll take it.
For me, no issue with the top 5. That's not what I had. I had Donald, Chris Jones, Cam Hayward, Fletch, and Kenny Clark from the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
The only issue that I had is I wish I would have been able to put Aaron Donald at 1, 2, and 3. I don't think those were the rules, so I only put him at 1.
Yeah, I wanted to put Aaron Donald on this list and the edge rusher list as well.
Right.
Top 100 players, he's up there with him, Pat Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. I mean, they're up there. Russell Wilson. But the top 3 I had Hayward and really both of them 2, and I ended up putting Kenny Clark and Grady Jarrett from the Falcons. Between them 4, I didn't know who to pick at 4 and 5. I just chose them 2, but I mean, I never said those speaks at all. That was pulling names out of a hat.
I think with me, you go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead.
So for me, it's one name missing. He's probably the OG of the group, and it's Calais Campbell. You know what I'm saying? When you put him on a good team, he definitely produces, and he'll be with the Ravens this season. And their defense was pretty good. So you add somebody like him who produces, definitely Pro Bowler. I think he should be top 5 with it. But in that dope list, I had Kenny Clark in my top 3. And you know what I'm saying, he definitely puts up the numbers, but I can see where Cox will be 3 and Hayward and Buckner. So it's like you said, Sharky is kind of like a pick and poison kind of thing. But I think Calais Campbell will have a top 5 season next season.
And actually, I had Calais Campbell at number 4. When I first created the list, I put Calais Campbell at number 4 until I looked at more stats on the other 4.
Yeah, for sure.
One omission I had from the edge rusher list, I just thought about it. And I feel like this guy probably don't get enough credit, but he's kind of aged like some fine wine. But what's his guy's name? I think it's Cam Jordan from the Saints.
From Saints.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, he's like
32,
33 years old, and still he getting better.
They've been balling.
But with this list, I mean, I feel like Fletcher Cox is better than Jones. This is my opinion, because I feel like Cox gets doubled every play, and we don't have good edge rushers, so he don't get the stats like he normally does. But I mean, you can just YouTube Cox pushing the center back into the quarterbacks almost every play. He is so disruptive in the middle of the field. I mean, you can ask GD about Cox, but But yeah, I'm not mad at this list. Cam Hayward is another guy who's older, but he's getting better every single year.
He is.
And then Buckner, I feel like Buckner's about to go ham this year with the Colts. Colts have a good defense.
Buckner just has a neck for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of the things I think that we probably need to kind of highlight with Buckner. He just has a neck for the ball. Like Skylar always talks about as far as defense, you need somebody that just go find the ball basically and know how to tackle, and that's definitely what you're getting with DeForest Buckner. So.
Yeah, just in regards to my list, I have the same 5, but I actually moved Cam Hayward up to number 2.
What?
Thinking about double mint twins. Thinking about,
I just want to know what's up.
So Cameron Hayward in the 3-4 defense is mostly double team most of the time, but to still have 44 run stops in 2019 was the most by any defensive tackle. We know Jones won't get there, and Fletcher Cox shows up, but not on the stat sheet every time. And he'll be the one that stops a huge third down play or make it a second and very long as well. And that's what really, really kills us twice a year is Fletcher Cox. And he's not doing that against the Dallas Cowboys. That's any team that's lining up against them.
How long Cox been in the league? I feel like he's been
on
this list. Right,
he's been it seemed like a good strong team.
I think 7 or 8 years because he came out in 2012.
That's it.
That's
it.
Wow.
I feel like he's been in the league 13 years.
Yeah, but he's still. I think he's just 29, 30.
Yeah.
No. No.
What? Yeah, because I'm I'm in the Madden League, so I know everybody's age. I want to say I'm a little biased with Chris Jones. I mean he's still top 3. I'm a little biased towards Chris Jones because I saw him come back from injury into the AFC Championship game and single-handedly shut down Derrick Henry. So.
All right, so we'll get next. What we got next week?
Kicker.
Oh yeah.
What?
I was just playing.
We got the coaches. We
got
the linebackers, the 4-3 linebackers, and the inside linebackers in the 3-4. And we got
interior linebackers. Okay.
Yeah, and NFL divisional storylines. That's what I've been asking for since June. Finally get it rolling and popping. But guess what? It's time for Skylar.
Your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, I would like to bring attention to a mixtape that was released in 2009. In 2009, the mixtape No Ceilings was released to the culture. A top 5, top 10 mixtape of all time was recently released to all streaming platforms. I saw the news on Twitter and spazzed because this is a mixtape I bump notoriously. I will bump No Ceilings right after Sunday school. I love that mixtape that much. The mixtape is so good. I appreciate Lil Wayne for that. This mixtape helped us to. There were songs that released in this time frame that we didn't even realize those artists released them. We thought Lil Wayne released them because the mixtapes were that good. This mixtape was recently released on all streaming platforms the other day, and I was extremely excited. I couldn't wait to go to my Apple Music and download the mixtape. And I get to the dang playlist, and not all songs from the mixtape was released. How bored do you have to be to freaking release No Ceilings and not give us all the tracks that were originally on the list? How bored do you have? Lil Wayne, we need to talk because you had to have signed off on this. You had to have okayed by saying you guys can release this mixtape and not give us all the dang songs. I'm pissed. You owe us another mixtape. Give us another mixtape. Sharky, I'm pissed.
Drought 5 on it.
I want something because you should not release a mixtape such as Great as No Ceilings that you said really should be named No Floors or No Walls or whatever the case may be. Why release it? Why release such a mixtape like this and not all tracks were on there? Not all the tracks were on there. I'm pissed. I haven't been the same. I don't understand.
Couldn't get clearance.
Don't release it.
Notice the album.
Just let us go back to going back on YouTube. Just let us go back to
live
YouTube.
mixtapes.
Come on,
Hey,
man.
so
Man, just go back to Dead Piff for live mixtapes and listen to it, man.
Yeah,
LimeWire would not have done this to us. LimeWire would not have done this.
So when I saw the checklist when I saw he was releasing on Twitter, I saw the checklist right there, and I was like, I already got the jump download on my phone from Dead Pill. I mean, I've had download for 11 years, so I'm just gonna keep listening.
When I saw the song "I'm Single" featuring Drake, I was like, I'm done. No, can't do it. Sorry. I'll just go.
Is that new? I don't think I knew that. Carter 6 coming for the year out.
This is the Carter.
I better hear some lighter flicks. I know that much.
Of course, it's always an option. So,
Dead Piff is the GOAT. Like, come on, man.
I know, but I just wanted to know Apple Music because I always got Apple Music. That's why
I know
go
you want on your strength. I know. I understand.
We all did because I got Spotify, so I wanted it too. I was excited.
Pissed.
When I saw the track list, I was like,
To
yeah,
disrespect, man.
I got
First of all,
YouTube Music now.
Chidi, I know you bumped it. I know you bumped No Ceilings. I know you was pissed.
I didn't even go ahead and try to re-download that because I knew Spotify would be on that mess. Unfortunately, and so like you to your point, like get on that Piff and LimeWire, taking away back Napster type deal. But like, it is what it is. I mean, he gave people. If you're not a true Lil Wayne fan and know nothing about No Ceilings, I guess you can get a little sample for that. I still think the droughts still need to be put out there too.
Give me all of them. Give me
all of them. But, I mean, as whoever Facebook user is, making sure that artists are paid their coin. Yeah, I get that part too. I don't mind paying whatever I pay for Spotify a month. But if I'm gonna pay it, then give me the whole list.
Right. Tell me why I knew this was who I thought it was, bro. Aston, if you don't
I know you ain't gonna go. Oh no.
Somebody created a page.
For StreamYard, you gotta click a link so it can you gotta approve them to show your name and stuff.
Man, he should have
check him. He was about to check ass and keep.
All you gotta do is go to the group me and click the link in there. He can get in with it.
Yeah.
Right. My favorite DJ too. What you think? I know you was upset.
Man, look, I'm happy you were able. What is it?
Follow this link right here.
Right. Dude.
I'm happy, Skylar, you were able to express both of our frustrations so eloquently. But like Asher just said, there are protocols into releasing, songs with other people's beats on it. And you do have to clear it.
Them Lil Wayne beats, just so we're clear. Them Lil Wayne beats.
Thank you. We're gonna be 100 about it.
Those little baby beats.
Look. In that run, Wayne is the GOAT. Like, he's forever and do that run. Like, he put this up at the top for me. So I get it. Trust me. I love Wayne. Like, we were joking earlier when we put the do-rag on the bike. You know what I'm saying? And Savage had the headphones on. Like, I get it. I'm with y'all. But the music business has the word business in it for a reason. So, and business some way takes away some of the quality that we're used to. So I just thank God that 11 years ago we were able to witness No Ceilings. Back when it was No Ceilings, now it's No Floors.
No Ceilings. Anything Wayne touched in that time era, in that time period, was gold.
It was gold.
Gold. If you want,
since we're on the topic, who would y'all say is the Wayne of this time? As far as like not better, greatness, whatever. No, not saying that. But as far as like making the run that Wayne had right now,
Drake.
Is there anybody?
It's Drake.
Drake
Can almost touch anything in its time.
Let the younger folks tell it. They're gonna say Lil Baby.
Right.
I would say Lil Baby
is probably. I was literally about to say the same thing. And I'll say Lil Baby is because Drake, he's kind of picking when to put out his content. And he's at that point in his career where he can do that. But Lil Baby is like, if you put him on any track, everybody's gonna listen to it. And I think that's kind of the same impact that Wayne had when we were growing up.
That's true, for sure.
I would say another question before we move. Who's the Gucci Mane of this generation?
So what are you asking for when you say who's the Gucci Mane?
They're all mixtapes. That's what he means.
Yeah, like the run he went on.
The run he went on.
I don't listen to rap that much, so I don't know.
Yeah, who's dropping mixtapes like that? Who's dropping mixtapes like that these days?
Himself.
I mean, I guess the Baby.
Right. I'm gonna say I don't know.
He put out like 100,000 tapes and
features
on the radio.
Babies.
The baby streak ain't long enough. Yeah.
Anybody name baby?
That's true.
Right. The baby, little baby, the oldest baby, the youngest baby.
I asked
OG
you,
baby.
Right. 3-month-old baby. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Anybody else got one?
No, but clearly Aston's bored. Clearly.
Well, you know he Lil Wayne. You know he Lil Wayne fan.
Go practice John Wall jump shots.
So
look at his boy now though. But look at his boy now. Remember? All right.
Yeah.
You say you had one?
yeah, I actually do. I don't think it's called. I mean, I don't think it goes into the topic you're bored. I think it's more so is what else could you be doing to not acknowledge your mistake, and that is NBC News putting out. A headline: World sprinter and 8-time Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt has tested positive for coronavirus and is self-isolating in his home in Jamaica. But in this topic, they have a picture of Kevin Hart. Like
Kevin Hart, the fastest man alive.
Kevin Hart is
That's
officially the
hilarious.
fastest man alive, ladies and gentlemen. And this is official. Kevin Hart did Instagram this from his own page. NBC did.
Of course he did.
So it's like either you're too bored to recognize your stupidity, or you're doing too much not to realize. Hold on, even though they black, they're not the same people.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you need diversity in the workplace.
Hey, so I saw another on Instagram shared by Miss Sharon Brown. Deadline Hollywood. They did talk about when Kenny Smith walked off the set in the studio. They had a picture of Charles Barkley.
Come on, man. Come
Again,
on.
I will stress the need. Wow. I will stress the need of diversity in the workplace. Please.
I don't even say that. Just use the Google machine.
I mean, it can't be that much more separate.
Not even that. White people know who Kevin Hart is.
Exactly.
What are we doing? You probably know who Usain Bolt
Hire
is.
black people. Just hire black people. That's
Kevin Hart is like the gateway drug for white people into black comedy. Like what? Like what are we doing, y'all? What are we doing? Who? How?
Not the gateway.
How? In what world does this man look like freaking Usain Bolt? In what world?
Think about the height.
Like Kevin Hart's head ain't tall as Usain Bolt. Like what are we?
Maybe
doing?
Usain Bolt has some stand-up comedy in his repertoire.
I've never heard Usain Bolt speak, so I have no idea.
Exactly.
Thanks.
I mean, put the picture back up, Savage. Let me see.
No. We're not finna rip it.
We're not
finna do this.
Stop it.
do this.
First of all, leave it like that. No. First of all, Usain Bolt looks tall in his picture. Kevin Hart looks short in his picture. This is just a picture.
They look alike, bro.
No, they don't.
No,
They got the same hairline in a way.
They don't even wear the same do-rag. They don't even wear the same do-rag.
Sheedy, you got anything to say on any of this
Please save us, Sheedy.
foolery?
Who said that? Say do right. That's hilarious.
Damn. I really don't like if I don't know something, I'll look it up. But like to Kevin's point, it's not even a point to look up Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart is in all these movies that they watch anyway. So some ABC of all then that's a big problem. Mm-hmm. Somebody in a major news organization, NBC, didn't see that. That's an error. Whoever the editing manager is or chief editor needs to be fired.
Man, real talk. Who are the editors, bro? Like, give me the editing job.
Hire black
if that's all it
people,
takes.
I'm telling you.
Any company. I'll keep saying. I mean, I'm seeing blogs and articles with misspellings.
How?
Sorry, Chief, for this, but that's one of my pet peeves. When I watch when I read an article and I see something like a run-on sentence or something, I'm like, bro, who is the editor? Like, what? How does this happen?
Oh, this ain't a run-on sentence; it's a running joke at this point.
Right.
Running joke by Usain Bolt. How about that?
No pun intended. I like the word playing that one, y'all.
The fact that me and she did at the same time.
Right.
That was a running joke card. I like that.
You're welcome.
Right. I'm gonna finish this off. I did this on Starting 5, so for Savage, I do it for you. I already know you know. I already know I already know you know Grizz lead this board talking about serious questioning. Who would you rather have between Dylan Brooks and Paul George? So I just skipped that one for you. I thought that one agree with me. Did you see this one from Beale Street Bears? If Memphis decides to trade Triple J over injury concerns, what would you rather see them get? Current player, Minnesota's #1, or future first round draft pick?
Do they? So current player mean like I can get LeBron James or something, or
Well, so.
a current player? I'm assuming I can get whoever I want. Because if a current player is freaking Frank Ntilikina, I don't want Frank Ntilikina.
Wow, what
Tony Roten.
Yeah, Tony Roten. First of all, why would you offer?
My man Tony Roten.
Tony Roten, go get him.
They already had him before, so we don't need.
You can put him at the Florida. He'll still run him one like Ben Simmons.
I guess you gonna trade Triple J for Ben Simmons?
I mean, you might as well at this point if you're gonna do it for Tony Roten.
I said you get a new GM at this point.
I will only. First of all, I'm not trading Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm not doing that. Like his injuries, in my opinion, is not that serious. Because he's still mobile and still can move and score. But who said this?
Let me continue with Beale Street Bears.
Beale Street Bears.
In 12:39 today, they put out an article. The title of this article is Jaren Jackson Jr. worth the risk? On that note, we're ending the show.
I'm about to say, hey, is he worth the risk?
No, we're ending the show.
Bye, y'all.
It was good. Y'all got last comments or anything else?
Hire black people. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Hire black people
before we hire ourselves.
Be the best y'all can be out here, dog. You know what I'm saying? Let the depth of others motivate you to be the best that you can be. You know what I'm saying? And don't let the stupid people that we happen to read from, get your negative energy out of, because there's some crazy people out here, y'all.
Thanks.
And they say a lot of crazy stuff. And like Sharka just read, like some of them just don't know what the hell they talking about, but it is what it is. Clickbait. Yep.
But
go ahead, Sharky.
That's it. I mean, I lost my train of thought.
Damn. I accept again. Hope my son doesn't watch this. And so what I will say is Black lives will always matter. And let us not forget that. We can have these fun and great moments, but let us not forget we need to keep our foot on their neck. And don't get mad about our quote-unquote allies not being there to support us if we aren't supporting ourselves. And so Black Lives Matter, protect the Black Queen at all costs, and everybody else need to get these hands.
Church said amen.
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 Till next time. Peace.
Peace.